Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day, son of a gun. And it being Thursday, amazing, I have therapy today. It is dark and cold outside. You know, it's gray and it's been raining, but it's not really raining right now. Thumbs up for that. I am tired. I never sleep well, but thumbs up for that. At least I did sleep, and my leg didn't cramp when I put my socks on this morning, so that's a good thing. Hopefully you slept well. There's a fair amount of stuff I want to talk about just because I just want to talk about them. I did get my ADHD meds. I mentioned that the other day, so I've taken them this morning, but I'm a week behind, and so it's going to take another week before they really start to kick in. Yay. Of course, front-loading of videos. If you toss me a like, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be cool. If you could leave me a comment, even for the algorithm, that would be double plus good. And of course, I'd like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these literally beautiful and literally awesome people, helping to keep me and my pet alive. I do appreciate that. If my pet could speak English, I know that they would tell you they appreciate that. We both appreciate being able to metabolize. It is a very good thing. If you would like to help to keep us metabolizing, I have links in the video description, as well as a link to a PayPal for possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with things like cat food, and there's a post office box where if you send me anything at all, we'll open it up on camera and marvel over it, and that's very cool, so thumbs up. Hey, front loading of videos over. Yay! Let's see if I can remember what it was. There's some things that I do want to talk about, some things that aren't really important. One thing I want to mention is Confused Owl 29 asked me in comments, what exactly is a Christmas monkey? I have the weirdest memory. Back in the 90s, when I lived in Bellingham, Washington, and was a severe alcoholic, there are a lot of emergency vehicles outside. It is loud. I was entering my end-stage alcoholism, but I had a friend who was an enabler, not their fault. You know, I pushed them into that sort of thing. But we got along very well together, and they were very silly in various things. They mentioned, they brought up a few times, Christmas monkey and being hosed like a Christmas monkey. That stuck in my head. I have no idea what a Christmas monkey would be. It's just a funny phrase. And so when I say, you know, or we be hosed like a Christmas monkey, and that's no way to be hosed. I have no ideas what a Christmas monkey is. So thumbs up for that. Also checking on my list here. Oh yes, this is one. On my creative front, when I talk about how, you know, like everyone's always eating people and people products, I've also mentioned how, you know, when things are brought into the forefront, it's like they're everywhere and everything. And so the way I fixate on things, it seems like, you know, it's everyone, everywhere, all the time, everything. No, the actual number of dark cryptids that eat people is actually very small. And the number of light cryptids that actually devour human beings is, again, very small. The vast bulk of cryptids, whether they're urban or rural or feral or suburban, they don't. They just don't. Genetic imperative, you don't do that. You follow your nature. And if your nature says don't eat people, you don't. You may find them delicious, but you don't. You act within your nature. So the vast bulk of people don't. Well, when I say people, I also mean cryptids. But at the same time, yes, they are introducing, the corporations and things like Uncle Bonbons, all of these little snack products. So yes, people, cryptids again, are starting to, as the narrative goes on, eat more and more of these snack things. But it's still, while a lot of people are doing it, and including, you know, the actual human people in it, it's not vast and huge and a gigantic thing. It's, you know, you might see someone being eaten once a week, maybe, from a dark cryptid, possibly. It's not everywhere all the time. So, thumbs up. And I just wanted to make a bit of clarity on that, because it is dangerous, it is horrific and nightmarish, but it's not that deadly. So thumbs up for that. But I also, here's If you haven't watched on YouTube or whatever, because it's a British program and they don't like show the British stuff outside of Britain because it's on BBC4, if you've looked up and watched the actual television series for Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, of course, based on the web series of the 6 episodes, there is something that happens in the last episode that perfectly encapsulates what it's like to have the vision if you're in the cryptid world, or the sight if you're out in the razor's edge part of it. Because in the very last episode, there's Red Guy, Yellow Guy, and Duck, the 3 main characters, and I'm just going to quickly synopsize for those who don't know what's going on. Yellow Guy is very dim, not smart at all. Red Guy is very cynical and nihilistic, and Duck is just a sarcastic individual. They do all of these weird things, and they fight, and they have adventures, and it's very nightmarish and horrific. In the last episode, we discovered that Yellow Guy actually runs on batteries, and the batteries that Yellow Guy has in are old and corroded and terrible. So they actually replaced the batteries with some new batteries from an electronic teacher that was going to show them something. But they go and interrupt that by changing the batteries, and then Yellow Guy gets batteries and can actually think, where it doesn't hurt to think anymore. But what perfectly encapsulates this whole thing is they've all lived in this building. But with the batteries in, Yellow Guy notices that there's a staircase going up in the corner of the room. He's never noticed it before. And the other 2, Red Guy and Duck, they don't see it. And when Yellow Guy walks onto the stairs to go up and look at it, the others don't notice him anymore. There's a thing there that nobody can interact with until suddenly the Yellow Guy changes. And then he can see and interact with it. So he walks up the stairs and he reaches the next level with the big boys. And these are another version of the previous characters, but point being that's a higher level of something where the people down below couldn't see. But these individuals here knew that there is a lower floor. And Yellow Guy continues interacting with them and then notices that there's a door that goes up that the other 2 in the room don't really seem to notice. And so he continues upward to the next level, where there's another group of individuals that they're aware of what's below them, but they can't see this doorway and stairs up again. And then when Yellow Guy gets up to this upper floor, he interacts with this other individual who is fully aware and largely in control of what's happening down below. Now, this is the end level of what the Yellow Guy can see, because as the Yellow Guy is leaving this room to go back downstairs, we see that there's another stairwell in the corner. Not hidden. It's there. But Yellow Guy couldn't see it. Now, could the person who's in the room controlling and seeing everything down below see the stairwell up and out? Hard to say. We only see it from Yellow Guy's perspective. We don't see it from the person who lives in the room's perspective. And then when the character comes back downstairs to try and tell everyone what's going on, they yank out his batteries, put in the old ones. He can't think anymore. He has a book with the answers, and they shred it. And then no one can interact with that upper level anymore. That's what having the sight is like. That's what having cryptid vision is like. You see these things that you don't see this stuff, and they can't. That perfectly encapsulates it. So if you can check it out, check it out. It is a very good series. There's only one thing that seems out of place in one thing about family, but I'll talk about that another day. Because one of the things I want to talk about as well, This is about solo RPG stuff. I mentioned a couple days ago that I had figured out conceptually, I went from I need to have instructions on how to do my mapping to, yeah, just give me a vague description and I'll map it out and be happy. It took a conceptual leap for me to be able to do that. And I had mentioned that I wanted to be able to figure out how to make that conceptual leap with oracles for solo game mastering. Last night, while I was out on walkies, my subconscious made that leap for me. Because you can either use tables or dice or cards, some randomized system where you ask questions and then you are given answers and then you have to figure out what's going on from that. That's always been too vague for me. Because they'll have like a 20-sided die, or however many sides it is, and it'll have answers. You ask a question, you roll it, and it'll say things like, yes and, or yes but, maybe yes, maybe and, maybe but, no and, no but. And it's like, you've got to work on that. I can't figure that out until last night. I was thinking about, there's a very simple RPG game, only on a couple pages. It's called Knave. It is classless role-playing. You don't have a class. You're a peasant. And so you don't have a class. You're just a nobody. And you work from there. It's a many-person game, but a lot of these older games are newer games are based on older things from the game licensing. And because they're sort of based on the same things, a lot of them are working the same. And so there's the game Scarlet Heroes that tells you how to use their system and the old school systems to make it all work. And they suggest getting this book to work with Scarlet Heroes because this one has a good bestiary of monsters. And there's another supplement of monsters for the game Basic Fantasy Role-Playing Game, another old school Renaissance game. Because they are largely similar in a lot of the rule sets, it's just how they approach it that are different. A lot of the monsters work together. So you have this book, you have the Basic Fantasy Role-Playing book, you have a ton of old school monsters you can use with very little tinkering in a lot of these old school games, of which things like Knave are based on. So let's say you have made up a character in a generic world. You've got a generic character, they're young. They've gone from a tiny village to a medium-sized town to make their way in the world. They have just become mature, they've moved out, they've come into the city, they're carrying everything they've got on their backs, they've got a tiny bit of money, so they'll need to get money to live, but they're not in a great amount of danger. So you're faced with this situation, you're starting your game that way, and you've got an oracle sheet. You're looking at your oracle sheet going, how do I make this work? Well, yeah, your character is also looking at the world and saying, how do I make this work? You're both in the same boat that way. So let's just say, narrativizing it, because you got to narrativize all this stuff. You get a room in, say, a boarding type house situation. Okay, you got just a room. You can roll up a random boarding house with random NPCs from a lot of random generators, and that's where you pay to stay. And then from there, you've got to go, gosh, I'm going to need some work. So let's say you spend a week networking, finding out what's going on in the city, finding out who, restaurants, shopkeeping, farms, who needs work that's long-term, who needs short-term work. You say, is there any work available for me this week? And you roll on the die. No, I don't have any fate die or anything like that, so I'm just going to make these rolls up. But let's say you roll the die and it comes up, no, but. So you look at that and you figure, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, okay, let's think about this. No, but. You can look at that as, yeah, there's no above board work. But maybe there's some work available that's a little bit on the shady side. A little bit they wouldn't want the authorities to know about. A little bit about something that needs to be on the down low. So there's no work available, but there is work available, depending on just how far past the law you're willing to go. And so you narrativize that as you're going to talk to somebody who's going to give you the job. You make the various rolls on that one. At this point, you can also decide on your own your difficulty level. Does the person who's sending you out, do they want to have no kills? Do they just want you to knock out? Do they say, if you're in danger, go nuts and start murdering everything around you? You can make that decision to increase or decrease your difficulty level. But then you just continue rolling those dice. Well, what sort of thing is it? Is it a fetch quest? Ba-dum. Yes. Okay, what sort of fetch quest would they want? There are all sorts of other tables you can make to make up a quick random fetch quest out into the wild. And all of a sudden your character's got a job, a quick job. Something that might be you're not trying to get gold or something, but maybe an intellectual property was stolen. And you're trying to track that down. And you find out that the person got killed by a bear or something out in the woods. So you're fetch questing that intellectual property. And of course, the people doing that would likely say something along the lines of, yes, we could send our people out to do this to get our information back, but it is slightly dangerous. Somebody could die. Which is why we're hiring you, because we're willing to pay you this money to go do this thing, because if you die, we are still safe and still functioning. So yeah, there's danger. There's stress, and there is your reason. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to get killed. So you've just made up a whole thing there just using fate dice and a little going, gosh, how would this fit together? They actually work. Real quick, I had mentioned as well that I wanted to buy a dice tower perhaps, but I also like rolling dice. I saw a thing where a guy made for both as landscaping stuff and as a dice tower out of the bottom half of a Pringles can. But it's only about this tall with a small thing here with a one small ramp. So you dump your dice in there and basically they hit, slide, and there's no place for them to even roll. So I was going, gosh, what's the point of even that one? But it's like, oh wait, Pringles can. If you'd like put a hole in here and put some foam board at an angle, foam board here at an angle down, foam board here, and then a slant for them to roll out, put that into a box of your own making with like foam board, you can make a really cool dice tower out of just an old Pringles can. So I'm going to work on that one too. I did want to talk about my characters and such, but I don't really have a lot of time for that one. So I'm going to hopefully be doing some solo RPG stuff using the game Knave, A Lonely Knave, the RPG rules for it. Knave is only 12 pages long. And then there's Maze Rats, which is only like 3 pages long with a solo supplement. And all of these being OSR, once again, I got a whole bunch of monsters right here in this book form. So I'm hoping to get these things done for the channel, and that'll be very, very cool. I continue to have my 4 After Dark. I'm going to continue to be doing Note Quest. I'm going to continue with D100 Dungeon. And of course, I'm also going to continue doing stuff like Minecraft, especially after I get my new PC parts all put together, and that'll be very awesome. But I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count American Sign Language, well, we have Jesse Koskinen, good to see you in the comments, and the weekends are nice, a lot less stress. And 77 Arcturus, good to see you. Thank you for making good comments. It's good to see everybody, but I do appreciate the fact that you have left such large comments in here. It is nice. Thank you. Confused Owl 29. Oh, those Christmas monkeys. Good to see you as well. We have Flora Mew, thumbs up, and there will always be more Undermarb. There is Cake, thumbs up, and thank you. And you have questions about cryptids that I need to answer. I'm really sorry I didn't have a chance today. Tommy Copeland, thumbs up and thank you. And yes, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to hopefully talk about tomorrow to answer your questions as well. Shinra, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. It is appreciated. We have Dustin McKinley, whose father passed away, and I am very sorry. Brendan Pitts, greatly appreciated. And that is it. We have 9 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated. Got me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people, and that is appreciated to no end. Well, Hokey Smokes, as stated, I got therapy today, so this is going to be posted late. Thumbs up for that. Hopefully you're going to have a good day today. If you can get things done, that'd be good. If you can't, don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help yourself do things better next time. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And if you're going out walkies and you hear the mournful howl of that bus, the bus with your name on it, yeah, get prepared. You're going to die. That bus is going to hit you. You're going to get caught between a bus and part of the landscape. And your corpse is going to smear. It is not going to be pretty. But people are going to be talking about it for a while. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.